welcome to another episode of Health with Natalie Cuomo. I'm here with Hans Kim.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing the podcast.
Of course.
I feel like this is our first real conversation.
Yeah, I've been watching, from afar.
Same.
Yeah.
I feel like
Kill
I first saw you at the Creek in the Cave years ago.
Oh, really? I remember seeing you at New York Comedy Club.
Oh, God.
4 years ago. One of those mics where it's just comics.
Oh, it's so you signed up hours in advance.
Yeah.
And then at 1 p.m. and then had to come back at 5 and you're just like.
Well, you just strolled in and strolled out. We're like, who was that? Holy shit. It was all comics. I think you were the only woman there.
Yeah, those were brutal. But I feel like you're killing it.
Yeah, I'm glad it looks that way. It doesn't feel that way all the time.
So you moved to Austin.
Yes, from New York during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I signed up for Kill Tony a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I did all right, and then Tony got canceled for saying something against Asians. And I was like, hey, I support you, because you can do so much for my career. I don't care about my race. Tony's done way more for me than my race has.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you actually go up to him and say something in that moment, or?
I did say something, but it was very brief. I was just saying hi, just because he was hanging out.
I said something, but it was hello.
Yeah. I wasn't that much of a whore.
Yeah.
I was just playing it by ear. But yeah, he was super nice, and he had me go up and be like, hey, I said something racist to Asians, but here's an Asian singing the national anthem. So that was kind of I don't know if it was more disrespectful to Asians or the national anthem.
Are you not a singer?
I'm not a singer, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a very good singer.
Okay, so I saw Kill Tony at the Comedy Store, but I feel I've done a few roast battles, but I feel man, they make me more nervous than anything, roast battles.
Yeah.
Did you ever, when you first started doing them, did you feel any sort of way, or were you just whatever, I'm here, I'm doing it, let me just bring it on? What was your initial feeling when you started doing the roast battles or Kill Tony?
I was just so happy to be on the show. I was just so excited. So I was like, okay, you can make fun of me. Ha ha ha. I love it. I don't know. I was just being my best Asian self.
Yeah.
Being subservient to higher ups. But roast battles are tough. I don't do them a lot. I wish I did more. It's like a joke writing exercise.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to work so hard just for 5 minutes of stage time.
I do feel that was the one thing I took away from it, is that it was such a good joke writing exercise. You have to write about this one thing.
Yeah.
And then it helps you with your own writing.
One thing being one
weirdo that you don't want to think about.
Yeah,
you're just I hate you. Looking at your pictures, you're such a loser. Why are you married? Your fat wife sucks. Yeah. But that is awesome. Okay, so you went on Kill Tony for the first time in Austin, and and you sang the national anthem.
Yeah.
And he just was yeah, that was great.
He was like, I'll get you a set next week. It wasn't really about my singing. During one point, I was dragging it out because I was feeling it.
Yeah.
It was such a crazy atmosphere. Tony just got canceled, and all his biggest fans were there for his comeback at Vulcan because he got kicked out of Antone's. So everyone is in this new place. Everyone's hyped up. I'm singing the national anthem. Tony's wearing a Pope outfit or a priest outfit. And so I was dragging it out, and then Tony's like, Hunt, hurry it up. And so then I just sped through the rest of it. So, I thought it was kind of funny because I was oh, I'm such a singer. And then Tony's like, no, you're actually just part of the intro. We need you to hurry it up. So it was, I had a great time after that.
Do you feel the writing exercise of having a new minute every week really helped you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was before I did it, I was I write a new minute every week. I can do this.
Uh-huh.
But then it's oh shit, the quality needs to be way higher.
Yeah.
Because it's online. Kill Tony fans, they're a little harsh sometimes. They're a little honest, brutally so. So yeah, it's you gotta write a minute under pressure. So it's it makes me write a lot more. I've probably written a lot more in the recent 2 years that I've been doing this, and better stuff hopefully. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to discover myself. Like, what is it that I need to write more about, like, and less about this stuff, more about other stuff. So it's like helping me find my voice for sure.
What have you found in that? Like, what do you think that you want to write more about?
I think the more personal it is, the better. I've, a lot of people are like, you talk too much about your girlfriend or liberals or like, I forget what else. But yeah, they like figured me out. They're like, you only talk about these 4 subjects. So it's like, oh, let me try to branch out and get to the core of like what it is that I care about, my girlfriend and liberals and stuff like that.
What do you, my girlfriend and liberals? What are the other 2 subjects?
Yeah, I guess it's just like the softer side of life. I guess that I need to be more, more either going more into or less into. I think it's good to have more discipline and like more like rigidity to my comedy. I feel like sometimes it's like a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
So it helped me like figure out like what is wrong with me because everyone's saying it online.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have been part of that world of like I'd say the most aggressive commenters, like that circle of people. They're fearless in terms of criticism. Do you get offended?
I do. I have to not read it sometimes.
Like do you get like what's your process? Does it get in your head at all, or are you just like it kind of like makes you curl up in a ball, or like what happens when you read a negative comment?
I think it just like kind of seeps into me, and then it comes out later when I'm playing like online games.
Yeah.
And then I like slam something really hard. I was like, where did that come from? It's like, oh, it's probably like all this like negativity that I'm seeping in. So I'm like trying to limit that because I think it's good to have criticism, but I think like the internet is too much in the criticism. Like that should be like 5% of what your internal self-talk is.
Yeah.
And for them, it's like 90%.
Totally.
So I think it's good to like criticize yourself, but then also you need to create, because if you're just destroying what you are and criticizing, then you can't like create as much. So I've been trying to like limit the amount of stuff I read online.
It's hard because you can't go online without I feel the same way. Like recently my manager was like, actually like right before this, he's like, why do you feel like the entire world is against you? I'm like, if you literally log into my account, it's like thousands of comments. So just being
really, you feel like that? That makes me feel better.
Oh my God, 100%. Just like, you suck, you suck, you suck.
Oh my God, that's so rude.
It's just annoying. But yeah, it's hard not to like, you can just like dismiss it, but you know that it's like being internalized in some way.
Yeah.
I feel like I was watching much of your clips. I definitely like, what is something personal about you that like you feel like you haven't shared in your comedy yet that you want to tap into?
I guess like my newfound lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, not being poor anymore. It's hard to joke about that because people are like, that's unrelatable. Like, why are you joking about how wealthy you are? But I guess like rappers do it. It's just hard to do it in like, I don't know. I think Aziz does it sometimes.
Yeah.
There's some comedians that really do it well. So I've just been trying to learn from them.
He was just at the Cellar, like working on like a new thing about his wanting a prenup, but not even like he just got married or something, but he doesn't want to get a divorce. Something. Obviously, I wasn't there. Someone else was telling me about it, so I'm butchering it even harder. But
I'm gonna tell it to someone else later.
Yeah, and it's just even worse.
Aziz has this new joke about marrying a Nazi or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I definitely think it is. That's cool. It is interesting because you really do rough it as a comic, especially just fucking in New York. It's so expensive. What do you feel like the big differences are between like the scene in Austin and New York? I feel like that's like a very big up and coming scene right now.
Yeah. I think it's happier.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how happy New York is. I was like in the trenches in New York. I wasn't in like the upper, like, elevated states of New York. So I'm sure that they're happy there. But like from what I see, like in Austin, everyone moved there during like 2021, 2022 when everything was shut down. So all the people that partied the hardest wherever they were from moved to Austin to party. So everyone's just hanging out with each other. Everyone's just having a great time. A lot of ketamine being snorted.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's not like coke.
I honestly, like, I've been to Austin a few times, but it's one of those places I'm like, where do people live? Do you know what I mean? Like, you go to the Creek, you go to Vulcan. You're just like, where are the houses?
They're all 20 minutes away in the suburbs, all spread out with backyards.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to drive in, so traffic is crazy. But yeah, there's not a lot of, like, you know, like in New York, you see all these public housing things, which is like, oh, this is what you need to get. I guess you guys still have homeless people, but I'm sure there'd be more without those things.
Right. What was it like opening for Joe Rogan?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I skipped right to the top. Like, this is like the guy that I looked up to that got me into comedy, and he's like had such an amazing career that all comedians are modeling themselves after now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I don't need to open up for anyone now, but of course I'd love to if anyone needs an
anyone's listening.
If anyone wants me to open, I'm a whore. I'm ready for anyone.
What do you think you learned? Like, I feel like I've never like opened for anyone that big, obviously, because I mean no one's really bigger than Joe Rogan. But okay, the first time you opened for him, the set's done. What were you like? Fuck, I just learned that from this experience.
Oh gosh, the first time, I was like,
you're like, there's so many.
The first time I was just like, whew. I think I was like, I can do this. I can be funny like how I am at the open mics on a bigger stage. Because it's like, if you can be funny in, like, you know, shitty open mic in front of like 5 comics, then how much more would I be excited to do it in front of an audience? So I kept my enthusiasm for this even through the trenches. So, like, you know, I kept my happiness and my love for comedy. So I was like, okay, I'm not jaded and I'm not like burnt out.
Right.
So I was like, okay, now I just need to like fucking, you know, write more jokes and perform it better, have more confidence.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to just do the whole I'm awkward and I'm nervous thing, because there's not like a lot of room to grow.
Yes. Yeah.
Some people do it amazingly, like Mitch Fatel.
Yeah.
I think he's like so funny the way he does it, but you know, I don't know if I don't know if I could do that. So
right.
I think just be owning it and being like, I'm not nervous right now. I'm not going to pretend to be nervous just to deliver my jokes. I think that was a helpful thing from doing those big shows with Joe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you've done his podcast too, right?
Yes.
That's a long conversation.
Yeah. I was so nervous. I didn't say a lot, which people let me know that I didn't say a lot. I was like, I know, I was there. But I was just happy to be there. I was just like, these are my older, you know, they're like elder statesmen, like, you know, like Mount Rushmore. So I was with Tony. So I was like, I'm not going to interrupt the flow. You know, I'm just going to try to help it along whenever I can. If they ask me a question, I'm going to address it.
Right.
But I wasn't trying to control the pace of the conversation at all. I was just like a kid in a candy store. Just like, oh my God. Just looking at everything, looking at Jamie over there. And yeah, I was so excited to do it because I've been listening. That's what got me into comedy is his podcast. And I've been listening to it before I did comedy. So it's like I'm talking to a guy that has been in my ear through like all my life for the last 10 years.
How trippy is that? Like, is there a moment where you're like, is this fucking real? Like, or is it just like what's your experience? That's I definitely haven't had an experience where like the person that got me into comedy is like, I'm doing their podcast.
Right.
Like, that is awesome.
Yeah. Like, it was so nerve-wracking. I was like thinking that the whole time, like, holy shit, I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel like I was thinking that too much.
You're like, I can't talk, I'm here.
Yeah, I was in the moment. I was just like, what? Huh? I was lost in the clouds.
That's so cool though, because you know, some people you like meet your idols and it's disappointing, but it's like you met him and he was great.
Yeah. And he liked me.
Yes, I got his approval.
Like, I modeled my life after your words, Joe. Please accept me.
Is there anything that like you got to say to him that like you'd always wanted to say? Like,
yeah, like I started comedy because of you. Mm-hmm. You know, I like knew all of his like back catalog and like stuff from his Netflix special. Because he had like one of the first Netflix special back when Netflix was like something you mail in.
I remember that.
Yeah. And they had those little envelopes and stuff.
They're like little paper ones.
Yeah.
Did he give you like any behind the scenes words of wisdom?
Yeah, he was like, it was like I opened up for him at the Vulcan for a long time because he does these Tuesday, Wednesday shows where he does like an hour after like 17 people go up, and he kills it. It's amazing to watch. But yeah, I was opening up for him on those like relatively little shows, but I mean, it's a big show for me. And after one time, just randomly, he's like, "You're funny. That's the most important thing, is you're funny." I was like, that's all I need to hear. I don't need any other confidence booster. Obviously I do, but at the point I was like, this is all I need. I don't need to have any insecurities at this point. But yeah, he was like, "You're funny," and I was like, oh, I never really thought about it. I always thought about funny as something you could work towards. But he was more like, you have it in you. Like, you don't have to like try so hard. So I think that helped.
Interesting. I feel like that trust is something that like we all struggle with, you know, like just trusting our own abilities instead of like that anxiety about like, what's next? I need to do this. And like, just like trust that you're funny and like things will come and your career will happen, and it takes time. I mean, like if you look at Rogan, he's been doing this for so long, you know? What about Tony? I mean, what a guy.
I know.
What a guy. That show is such an experience.
Yeah.
It really is. Kill
it's brutal.
Tony.
It's like shining a light on you. You're like in the open mics. I'm so funny. All of my friends love me. And then you get on that big stage and like, you know, Andrew Schultz or Joe Rogan is sitting there looking at you, and you're like doing your shit that you did at open mics. It's so crazy that people are allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Because it can break someone for sure.
Has anyone ever like come away from doing Kill Tony and like there's been, you know, they've had a tragic response?
No, not yet. Fingers crossed.
I remember like, okay, it was years ago, like probably 2019. I was at the Comedy Store, and this guy, I don't know why, something just really freaked me out. This guy did Kill Tony, and he had that thing where you can tattoo your eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
He had black eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it freaked me out for some reason. He did this, like, he wasn't a comic, but he did this, like, terrible minute. And he had these, like, thought he was, like, a magician. And he had, like, tattooed eyeballs. And I just, like, couldn't sleep that night.
Really?
Yeah.
That deep?
It really, yeah. And he was, like, walking around afterwards. And I was just like, I don't know. It really fucked me up. I'm
Is it because he's, like, so crazy? Or are you like, oh, that's sad? Like, he did so much work and he bombed.
It wasn't about his performance. I mean, yes, he kind of bombed, but like, see, the eyeballs, man, it like tripped me out in this way that like it was such a I had such a visceral response to the tattooed eyeballs on Kill Tony.
As someone who has so many tattoos, I don't know why you're so bigoted against someone who just decided to tattoo one other thing.
It's so true. I started looking up online. I was like, you can go blind from tattooing your eyeballs. I was like, what's this guy doing?
That's the thing about comedy, is you meet so many weird people.
I know. Now I sound like an asshole, but yeah, I guess.
I mean, how can you help how people affect you?
It's true.
That guy was crazy. So.
Have you ever like offended? Have you ever felt like, you know, there's all this stuff about like being offended in comedy, like that's offensive, like blah blah blah. Have you ever felt like viscerally offended by someone?
On stage?
Well, on stage, in life, like anything.
I mean, yeah, all the time. I'm like a walking ball of nerves. I'm a sensitive little boy. I don't know why I got into comedy. This is the worst place to be sensitive at. But I think that's why I got into it. Yeah. Because I am very easily hurt by social situations, so I wanted to control it. Yeah. And now I'm in a situation where people are judging me and saying things to me all the time. But I think it's like UFC fighters that get into fighting because they don't want to get beat up. And then they get beat up all the time so that they don't get beat up. That's
so interesting. Okay, so you're sensitive to social situations, so you want to. I also feel like super sensitive.
I can tell some guy just freaked you out just by existing.
Wow, interesting. I get viscerally angry about hecklers sometimes. I like
Really?
Yeah, sometimes it's like it's a little too angry.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were you like as a kid?
I was kind of rambunctious.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't a good Asian boy. I looked like a nice kid, so teachers gave me the benefit of the doubt, but I was wild. I was crazy.
Like, what did you do?
I would, like I was in band. I would get like a little ball of paper and try to throw it into the tuba. And he was really anal. He was like really pent up and all that. And I was just picking on him. I kind of feel bad. I would be like saying smart comments to the teacher, like especially if I thought their class was like, they weren't putting in the effort. Like they would be like, "What happened in the 1970s?" I'd be like, "The moon is discovered," or something stupid I got from Ollie G.
I like Ollie G.
Yeah, he was my comedic influence for sure. Just an idiot.
Yeah. I like the ice cream gloves.
Donald Trump. Oh, wait, that was the same was that what did he ask Donald Trump? Was that the ice cream gloves? Oh, he's like, "What's the most popular thing in the world?" He's like, "Music." He's like, "No, ice cream."
I remember you had that like invention where like you wear gloves while you get ice cream so that doesn't get on your hands. I don't know. It's like crazy. Do your parents like your stand-up?
They've seen it like twice.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think they really fuck with it heavy.
Really?
Yeah. They're just happy that I'm not homeless anymore.
Yeah.
They're just happy that I'm doing it, but I don't think they like it too much.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe they're listening at home every Kill Tony, but they haven't told me.
Do you talk about your family and your stand-up at all?
A little bit, not too much, just vaguely. Like my sister's a bitch, and I just use her as like a tool because I don't really complain about her too much. But
is she a bitch?
A little bit. She's like a good daughter, and I was a crazy child, so we obviously butted heads. She's like, "Why can't you just do your homework and all that?" It's like, I'm trying to have fun. I don't want to just waste my youth being a good Asian.
Yeah. And now look at you.
Yeah, I made a career of being a bad Asian.
I like that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, what would you say is the best advice you ever received?
Besides the one that Joe gave me, like, "Hey, you're funny," like that. Besides that, I would think, all the comedians on podcasts being like, "Don't take advice from other comedians."
Yeah.
Because our journeys are so unique.
Yeah.
We all have such different personalities.
Yeah.
It's hard to Greer Barnes isn't gonna have the best advice for Mitch Hedberg or something like that. So I think do it on your own. This isn't like music. 'Cause
right.
As an Asian, I did piano and band and all that. It's like this is the scales. This is how you play it. This is how you're supposed to intonate or whatever. But in comedy, it's like, who knows? Trying to give advice to Andrew Casertano. What would I even say?
It's so funny. My mom and his dad worked next to each other for years. Is that so random?
Yeah.
For the parks department. That's just random. But how do you feel like you find I agree that taking advice from comedians or anyone in this industry is not you can't take it at face value. But how do you feel like you find your way then?
I think just from who I am attracted to, not in a sexual way, but in a career way. Oh, this guy, I fuck with him. I want his life. And then you just slowly pretend to be him.
What do you mean?
I mean, Andrew Schultz, I look up to, and just how he clips bits and how he does his social media and how he lives his life like he went to Egypt or something.
Yeah.
Just Ari Shaffir, and just taking parts of all these people,
right,
and incorporating it into my life however it fits easiest.
I definitely look up to how self-made Andrew Schultz is, and how just a lot of these people that don't necessarily need the approval of any other establishment are just like, I'm putting my stuff out there regardless of what anyone else says. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I think that kind of like shift in the industry is really cool and inspiring. I feel like knowing that you can just like edit. I edit your own stuff, put it out there. Do you edit your own stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so much freedom. We don't need the NBCs anymore.
Right.
So if you're failing, it's just because you're not
like
working
you're lazy.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that about comedy. Like, you don't need like record labels or like people to give you instruments. It's just us. Obviously, you need clubs, so there is sort of like a gatekeeper.
Right.
But it's so much more freedom than before in the 90s when they had the big comedy boom and everyone was trying to be Seinfeld. It just destroyed creativity.
What's your writing process like?
I try to write 2,000 words a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess this is feeling really Asian.
I know.
What do you mean you write 2,000 words a day? Like what? Like, okay. Like how?
I use a computer. That way I can check the word count.
Like when you first wake up or something, or
I try to.
anytime?
It really depends. I just try to get it done. It's like about an hour of writing, which isn't that much. You know,
and was it like free writing? Is it about jokes? Like what?
It's like depends on my motivation for that day. Sometimes I'm like, oh, let me just get this over with. And other times I'm like, fuck, I need to actually write about jokes. So I don't write about diary stuff. But I try to like work on jokes for those 2,000 words. But yeah, it really depends on my motivation.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So, okay. Is it usually like a specific time of the day?
No, not
just
usually.
any time you'll just like, and like you're writing your 2,000 words.
Before I do comedy at night, usually.
Really? What do you feel like it opens up your brain? Like, what do you feel like this does, writing the 2,000 words a day?
I think it puts me in a state to be like, what's funny? Come on, write something funny. And then the rest of the day, I'm in that mindset where I'm like, okay, is this funny? Is that funny? And so it makes me look for jokes more because I've been doing it for an hour.
Do you feel like it starts usually as like a diary thing? Like, how do you, like, when you first sit down, you're like, hey, Word document, what's up? Like, I don't know, like, so tattoos, like what? Like, how does it start? Your 2,000 words
like,
a day.
Hey, oh, I gotta get this done. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm writing about. I'm writing about nothing right now. This is such a waste. That's like about like 20%.
Okay, yeah.
And then, you know, if you have something you want to talk about, usually what I like to write about is if someone pissed me off.
That's so easy because everyone pisses me off.
Yeah. Especially in New York.
Yeah.
Like just people walking around aimlessly or too directly. Like no one's at my level. No one's doing it right.
That free writing is so important. And it's one of those things everyone's like, yeah, I got to write, free write. And it's like, that's really cool. That definitely opens up your mind. It gets your creativity flowing.
I don't even know if it's really good for comedy, but it's good for me it's like therapy sometimes.
Yeah.
I get a lot out sometimes, like angry stuff, and then I look back, I'm like, why was I so angry?
Do you ever get worried that like someone's gonna read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone hacks my whatever, I'm not telling them what they have to hack, but
yeah. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, do I do it as like a Google Doc? Do I do it as like a Word doc?
I'm like, there's probably something in here that I'm not even worried about, but I should be.
Right.
And then what I'm actually worried about, no one cares. So I have no idea what's in there. I write like knowing that no one's gonna read it. Because if I thought that, then I would censor myself. And it's like there's so many things that we always censor ourselves. Because usually our thoughts are just to convey socially. So then if our thoughts are like, oh, this person is kind of annoying, and then you delete that so that you could be nice to them in a social situation.
Right.
And then writing, it's like you don't need any of that. So I try not to think about getting hacked.
Yeah, of course. That's awesome. Okay, so where did you think of 2,000 words? Like, that seems arbitrary.
I think it's from Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, does he do that?
I think so. I think it was either him or Stephen King that did that.
Yeah.
But obviously Stephen King has to write way more because he's writing books. But 2,000 words is like a bare minimum for like an actual writer. But for me as a comedian, I feel like that's a tall task.
Well, I feel like it's just a person. Like, I definitely, like, for example, someone texted me yesterday and they're like, how is this thing going? How did this thing go? And I was like, it was good. And they're like, oh, good. And then I sent them like a long paragraph after and they didn't respond. And I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? And I feel like maybe if I had journaled that day, the journal could have gotten the long paragraph instead of like this person whose opinion I care about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
You're
just
unloading on people.
Yeah. Instead of like unloading on the abyss.
Yeah.
I'd rather a hacker get it at this point.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like a lot of pent up anxiety just from like this business, this industry. Like so many things have been giving me so much anxiety about like just beginning to tour more, like basically beginning to tour more and like going on the road and just dealing with those nuances. That kind of stuff has just been like giving me all sorts of anxiety, and I feel like I
hate it.
feel like I could be venting about it.
I've been touring more too.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, did that guy like me? What do they think? It's like, you're just putting yourself out there all the time, and you're just asking people to judge you.
Yeah.
It's like, why does this have to be a part of the job?
Right. And like, how many tickets are sold there? How many tickets are sold there? Did I promote this show? Can I promote this show? You guys gonna have me like, it's just, it feels like when you have like a bunch of dates lined up, you're like always, every day is about like promoting dates. Every day is about checking in on the dates. And you're just like, I don't even want to tour anymore. Like, can I make money from my living room? I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I feel like when you're out on the road, you are like a king at that club if you're the headliner.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I do have to suffer a little bit because this is way too much power. Like no one should have this much power.
Yeah, I do feel like you're treated well on the road, especially if you're selling well. But it's like, it is fun. It's fun when you get there.
It's never like the good treatment that I want. It's like always like random stuff like, oh, you know, like here's the back door, or like I'll help you sell merch or whatever. But it's never like, I think you're amazing and
I have a tattoo of you on my ass.
Is that like the ultimate sign of respect for you?
Yeah, someone needs to get a tattoo of me.
Oh gosh, it already happened.
I wish. No, it's like, here's 5 shelves of candy. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's really it's just like a lot of overwhelming stuff that I could definitely dump into I feel like once you get it out, then it leaves so much more space for creativity too.
Yeah.
But
you can see your thoughts. Like, oh, that's my insecurity. That looks gross.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
exactly. I know. And also, like, I used to journal so much as a kid, and I feel like I reread them, and I'm like, ugh. Like, whenever you reread your journals, you're just like, oh God. Like, I guess it's supposed to be the stuff that's for cringing at, but it's like, my thoughts can be really cringy sometimes.
Yeah. You're unloading all your like worst thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you're like advanced past that, and you're like, oh, this is what I was struggling with earlier that I defeated.
Right.
And now I have to confront it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, you have a girlfriend that you talk about in your act.
Yeah.
Is she a stand-up comedian?
No, she's a normal person.
She's a normal person.
Yeah. Don't mean to flex, but I got a normie.
And you did that on purpose?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It was definitely a plus.
Yeah. Because
that way it's not like, oh, this you can, you know, date outside. You need to, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it is a nice thing to have someone who's not in it.
Yeah.
Because then she has no ego towards being funny.
Yeah.
And she can help me, and she can just be herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, she helps me out a lot because, I don't know, I just like her outside perspective because she's not jaded by the doing it. So
also, I feel like probably like excited about everything, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Comedians don't find things as exciting because it's like, I feel like a non-comedian would think something is more exciting than a comedian.
Yeah, like, oh, that my friend had the same thing happen earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're just competing with other people.
Right. That's cool. What do you feel like you talk about the most about her in your act?
Probably like sex stuff. Just because it's the most interesting.
Do you feel like your success, like you got a lot more female attention with success?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being on Kill Tony and all that, and plus I did the whole thing where I was kissing people.
Wait, what was that?
Like, Tony would be like, "Does anyone want to kiss Hans this week?" So every week someone would come kiss me.
Oh my God! Did you like that, or was it like what? What?
I loved it. I mean, I thought it was ideal.
Was it like just like a peck, or would you like make out with people?
I would make out with them with tongue and all that.
Yeah. Okay, in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Did it like ever evolve into like anything more afterwards?
No, not really. Yeah, usually they just wanted to kiss. I did have sex with a stripper in a broom closet. That was kind of a big thing that happened.
Would you like to elaborate?
So it was like the second week they did the kissing thing, and then I kissed her, and then her boyfriend was on stage or something watching, and they were like, "You want to have a threesome?" And I was like, "Sure," for the bit. But then I didn't really want to, and he kind of got the vibes that I didn't want to have sex with him near me, which is like a normal thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I don't want to have sex with another dude there. And then so she just, she had like such a good time being on the show for the first time.
Yeah.
I think she was kind of riding that wave, and then we had sex in the broom closet.
At Vulcan?
At Vulcan, yeah.
What was the broom how big was the broom closet?
It was dark. There was like a toilet in the corner. There was like a mop bucket. It was like not the most
During
sanitary.
The show?
After the show, during the after party.
Did her boyfriend care?
No, he was sort of like dating a stripper / porn star. So he was like kind of cool with it.
Did you use protection?
Yeah.
Are you lying?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a condom.
Yeah.
And my friend, I was like, "Dude, you need to help me out." And he was like, "Here's a condom."
What'd you have without a condom?
Yes.
Oh my God, was it good?
It was all right. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was more for the novelty. I don't think we, really were doing it for mind-numbing orgasms. We were just doing it to say we did it, which is fun too. That kind of sex is fun too.
Yeah. Did she ever return?
Yeah. I think we made out once and then sort of fizzled out.
Oh my God. Did you guys like have texting conversations like, "Oh, it was so fun in the broom closet"?
No. That wasn't our like Titanic moment.
Were there brooms in there?
There was a mop bucket.
There was a mop bucket.
It was dark. There was no lights in it.
Was there like a mirror?
No. They changed it now. It's like a bathroom for the employees. But
can you paint a picture for us?
So like it was after the show, we're like running around the place looking for somewhere to have sex, and then like one of the employees told me, "Hey, go to the broom closet right next to the woman's bathroom."
What about the green room?
You can't have like Greg Fitzsimmons was in there.
Okay.
Like it was a party. Everyone was in there. And so we sneak off into this dark ass place. We close the door, then we can't open it because there's no door handle. So I had to like get a thing and pry it open. And then we do it like she faces away from me, and we do it, whatever that is, standing doggy style or whatever.
Wow. So, okay, how long was this a segment? Like, Who Wants to Kiss Hans?
Probably like 2 or 3 months.
Did your girlfriend put an end to it?
I was single at the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
Is that how you met your girlfriend?
No.
That would be crazy. Yeah. That would be like a big red flag if that's how you met her.
Yeah. Like I was number 74 to kiss him.
Oh my God. Whose idea was it? Was it Tony's idea?
Yeah.
How did he come up with it?
I was on the show, and then I was like, I have a crush on this comedian, but she doesn't like me back.
Mm-hmm.
And so they invited her on stage and like, "You want to kiss Hans?" And she was like, "No, I don't like him like that." And then they was like, "Does anyone want to kiss Hans?" And then this amazing stripper comes on and makes out with me in front of her.
Oh, she's still on the stage?
Yeah. And then Tony was like, "How do you feel about that?" And she was like, "I still don't want him." I like it's okay. He can make out with whoever he wants. I'm not attracted to him or whatever.
Oh my God.
And so then every week, then he had me kiss someone else.
And I wish she was there every week. That would be so good. Damn. How did you meet your girlfriend?
It was at the Vulcan, not during Kill Tony. It was a show that I was headlining.
Okay, cool.
It was like a one-nighter on like a Wednesday or something, and then I was like walking down because I didn't think I had a great set. But I was walking down, and then there was like a line of people, and so I met her in like the meet and greet area, and she gave me her phone number.
That's nice.
And then we're supposed to like meet up that night, but I was like, I'm doing a podcast. So she thought I was big timing her.
Oh, okay.
But it was a podcast with Ali Makovsky doing Catan. So we had Dylan Sullivan, Ali Makovsky, me, and someone else. So I was like, this is like, Ali Makovsky was a big get for the Catan podcast.
Yeah, I really like Ali.
Yeah, I was doing a Catan podcast with a bunch of dudes.
Like Settlers of Catan, like the game?
Yeah.
Cool.
And now I got my girlfriend into it, and now we play online all the time.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Is she a nerd?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's more like a cool girl.
Yeah.
Than a nerd.
Like a fan of comedy.
Yeah,
cool.
She loves Jack Nicholson, so I don't really know what she's into.
Like the actor?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, he's so hot. The guy with the eyebrows that go like this. It's like, that's what you're into? Okay, I guess. Makes me feel bad.
I guess you don't really look like him.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah.
That's usually a compliment.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you need to look like Jack Nicholson.
No, that's an
God.
unrealistic body standard for men.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wow, that is wild. They do come up with like really wild segments on that show.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like pro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like Tony's, whatever he wants happens.
He's really hilarious.
Yeah. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
He's so talented.
Yeah. That is hilarious. I mean, I definitely think you can cross having sex with a stripper in a broom closet off your bucket list for sure. It's
my mop bucket list.
Yeah, your mop bucket list. Absolutely. Wow. Do you see yourself like staying in Austin for a long period of time?
Yeah, as long as I can, tour.
Yeah.
You can tour from anywhere.
Right.
So I love Austin. I love the quality of life there is way higher than when I was in New York.
Yeah.
But I would love to, move around. I don't want to just be stuck there. I
Right.
think New York's such an amazing city.
Yeah.
Have you been here your whole life?
Pretty much.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would like to live in a few years, like in more of like the suburbs and like commute in, because I definitely feel like elevated anxiety at times. But I do love New York for sure.
When you go other places, are you like, this is not as good?
I think New York is the best city.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin's really fun. I want to go back. I've been there like 3 times. I love Texas. Like, I think Texas. I don't like the politics.
You do have a Buc-ee's tattoo.
Yes,
right?
we have the Buc-ee's tattoo.
That's crazy for someone that doesn't live in Texas.
I know. Well, I felt like I don't know what I believe or anything, but I'm like, if there's a past life, I'd live there in a past life. Like, I feel like I love Texas for some reason, because it's just like, it's very open. It's very like the people are nice. I think it's like the opposite of New York. Like low buildings, nice people. Even if it's fake, like they're being fucking fake and I like it. Okay? Yeah. Like I like when people are fake nice to me. Yeah. People in New York are just so rude.
Sometimes they're fake mean. That's the
fake
worst.
Mean, yeah.
If you're 100%. Real mean, then I get it.
I think I have like a real I think I'm like a true New Yorker, and sometimes if I spend too much time here, I get like a chip on my shoulder about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking asshole. And it's like, chill.
That's crazy. Because, New York, there's a pride to being an asshole. So then it's just like a competition to see who can be the shittier asshole.
But everyone else is like relax. You need to chill. And I think it just like it's just because it just feels like you also kind of feel isolated because everyone's like moving so quickly that you're not even really like communicating or chilling with anyone. Think in other cities, everyone kind of just like sits down and like hangs out for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, everyone's just like buzzing around, but
I don't have time for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like even at clubs, like you do a spot and like people will sit at the table for like 15 minutes and like, I got to go to another spot. Yeah. Whereas I feel like other cities that are big comedy cities, there's like even more time between spots.
Yeah, because there's nothing else to do. Yeah. Because it's a wasteland.
Yeah.
New York, there's so many amazing things everywhere.
Yeah.
And the people here are the best, I think.
Yeah, and like the writing, I don't know, I feel is can be top notch. I definitely need to take your advice about the just dedicating. I went to the college I went to Bard College, and I also went to like Bard High School. So the first like week of Bard High School and the first 3 weeks of Bard College are just a writing workshop. So you just free write. Like you start every day just like free writing, and you're just writing the first few weeks. And I'm like, I know I can free write. I know that like I've done this. I've had the discipline.
Yeah,
I just need to like do it. But
well, how do you write?
I will like sit down for periods at a time with a notebook. But my problem is that I'll like journal in a notebook for like, 45 minutes, an hour at a time. And then I'll copy it over into like an itemized set. And then when it's time for me to go on stage, I'll rip it out of my notebook. And so like I just have like pieces of paper everywhere. And then I like, it's very disorganized, and I need to be a little more like, it's like organized chaos a little bit. Right. But yeah, I journal with my hand, but then I feel like my hand can't keep up with my thoughts a lot of the time.
Right. Which is good sometimes if you want to like write each word purposefully.
Yeah, I feel like it starts out being like really neat handwriting, and by the end it looks like a serial killer wrote it. I'm just like, what is this?
That's the thing about handwriting too. You can tell your emotions during it.
Yeah. Sometimes you look back and I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah, it's like jagged edges. And
I journal a lot when I'm like really upset, but when the problem is like I feel like my writing depends so much on like how inspired I'm feeling and my mood, when like I should be writing when I'm happy also. I should be writing when I'm uninspired also. I shouldn't just be like when I'm upset and when I'm inspired. It should be all the time.
Yeah. But capture different moods, different things, material.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, we got like 10 minutes left. I like to pull a tarot card every episode.
Oh.
Did you grow up religious?
Yes.
Yeah? What religion?
Relapsed. Presbyterian.
Really? Relapsed? Yeah. What do you mean?
I don't do it anymore.
Yeah. My parents are atheists, but
of course, you're from New York.
Yeah. Communist. We've got a
I don't know how it works.
Do you play video games?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this game, Graveyard Keeper?
No.
Oh my God. So everyone was telling me to play it because I love Stardew Valley. You know that game?
No.
It's like a farming simulator.
Okay.
But now that I'm playing it, no one knows what it is. It's so insane. Basically, it's like you like you die, and then you make your own graveyard. And like every day this donkey drops off another dead body, and then you have to extract like all the parts of it. You sell them in the village. Then there's like this refugee camp. You have to make sure they have enough food. Then you have to do these like prayers. It's crazy. It's like this crazy game that now I'm addicted to. But if anyone plays Graveyard Keeper, can you please send me a message? I can't find anyone that plays it. I think the security guard at the stand plays it, so I'm going to talk to him tonight. But
is it a multiplayer game?
No.
You just want advice?
But I like stream it on Twitch, so that's why I was like, I want another game to stream on Twitch. Everyone's like, can you shuffle the cards?
Sure.
Everyone's like, Graveyard Keeper. It's really dark,
that sounds
though.
Really cool. Like, are you into like the cult and like thinking about mortality and stuff?
No, I do not. That keeps me up at night. It really keeps me up at night thinking about these things. So
is that why you were afraid of that guy?
I think so, yeah.
He reminded you of what your eyes look like when you die or something?
Do your eyes look like that when you die?
I think they look fucked up. Not necessarily like that.
I don't know why. I feel like I don't know. It just freaked me out. You know so I forgot who told me. Oh, yeah, this comic. She told me she has a fear of, I forgot what it's called, but it's essentially like she can't look at the inside of a sunflower or like the inside of like a honeycomb. But like this like certain like pattern. You can look it up on, I forgot the name of it, but like it's like, I'm like maybe
she's phobic.
Phobic of like
tessellations.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Maybe it's like her lizard brain being like, hey, this meant danger. Like, this is poison.
Yeah. Like, and then you look it up, it shows like weird rashes and stuff. I'm like, maybe it's like I don't know. All right. Well, okay. I'm going to see if what we need to hear today. Maybe I honestly, you have your show at Sony Halls tomorrow. Tonight?
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's
big
cool.
show.
That's awesome. How many people does that hold?
I think 400.
Oh my God. Are you so stoked?
Yeah.
Who's on the show?
Tristan Bowling from Kill Tony.
Cool.
Cam Patterson, new regular on Kill Tony. Sura,
cool.
South Korean.
Yeah.
And then I think that's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. What do we need to hear today? What's the energy? Oh my God, the world. Interesting.
Like it. All the people at my show. I'm going to be talking to the world in New York because so many international people are here.
Yep. That's a lot. I mean, I don't know this card that well. I got to look at the book. Sometimes I know the cards, okay? Today, the world, it's a big place. Okay. The world. Oh, wow.
It's the last
I
page.
mean, I feel like this really is you, okay? Because it's, you know, you love Joe Rogan. Now you guys are pals. You're fucking opening for him. It's wholeness. It's completion. It's the final card in the journey of the major arcana. It's harmony, contentment. It's rare to experience this energy. We're usually consumed by wanting, needing, and achieving. When this card appears, contemplate for a moment the idea of being whole. Focus on this image on the card. Close your eyes and envision this radiating energy inside you. What does it feel like? Where is it located? What blocks you from feeling a sense of wholeness each and every day of your life?
Wow. That's a really good.
It's a nice
I thought
card.
tarot was like death and stuff. This is like philosophy and therapy.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Yeah.
Well, Hans, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
Of course. DJ Hans Kim, and then hanskimcomedian.com.
Awesome. And thank you guys for being here. We will see you next week. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and bye.